Welcome back, Sports Underground. It's been quite a while since we've joined you. I think since the infamous thunder and lightning strike to beat all lightning strikes. But we're back for NFL preview. Obviously, Thursday night game has already happened, but we don't like the Packers, so it really didn't affect anything we're going to do.
Sure. Hard to believe the NFL season's already among us.
It is amazing with the shortened season or shortened off season with the lockout. It kind of came on us pretty quick.
It sure did.
Before we start, though, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about 9/11. One of those moments in history where wherever you were, you remember exactly where you were. I remember being at my friend's house, waking up on the couch to him telling me his mother called and said something crashed into the Twin Towers, not believing it at all, turning on the TV, and unfortunately seeing the second plane crash into the second tower. So to all the victims, families, survivors, firemen, police, anyone who had anything to do with 9/11, our thoughts, our prayers go out to you, your family, and we'll never forget where we were and never forget about you.
Emotional week for everybody involved and for all Americans everywhere. So yeah, it's a 10-year remembrance point, and it's I agree. You always remember where you were.
Okay, so hopefully enough of the serious stuff, back to things that are enjoyable, things we like to do, things we like to talk about, and we're going to get on with the NFL preview. I hope you like the new set today, brought to you by the Best Western Bloomington, Mall of America, Best Western Bloomington. Beautiful accommodations here, probably the nicest place we've got to do a show from.
Oh, brand new room, our accommodations are perfect. Yeah. Can't complain one bit. Comfortable, very nice.
So thank you to Mark Olson, the general manager right here at the Best Western, for everything he's done for the Sports Underground. Okay, AFC East. I think we'll start from the bottom up for me anyway. And I think the Dolphins are going to be the fourth place team in this division. No answer at quarterback. They get rid of Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown. All they basically have is Brandon Marshall. I think they're maybe a 5-win team, maybe a 6-win team at best.
A bit of a rebuilding year for the Dolphins, I agree. Between them and Buffalo, the unfortunate thing about Buffalo, I think, moving on a little bit, is they're a team on the rise, I believe. It's just so tough for them. They keep on gaining pieces, but they keep losing good ones as well. And it's such a tough division. Such a tough division. Small market team, but they try. They try very hard. I think you're right. One of those teams is going to have 5 wins. One of those teams is going to have 6 wins. It's a toss-up which one.
Right, and there could be a 7-win team out of the two, but I'm going to say the Dolphins on the bottom, then I'm going to go Bills in third, but like you said, either way you could go there.
Talk to me in 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 7 weeks, we'll know a lot more about both those two teams, but not really much to talk about right now.
Right. My second place team in the division then is going to be the Jets. Sanchez, like him, hate him. He's a guy that's got them to the AFC Championship game 2 years in a row. Rex Ryan, a very boisterous coach. He loves his team, and he's going to tell you all about it. Offensively, Tomlinson, a year older. So Sean Green's going to have to step up and carry a lot of that load offensively, even with Plaxico Burress out of jail. I'm going to put the Jets on 10 wins right now and probably a wild card team.
I think they're going to be a little disappointing from a lot of what people have for their expectations. You really can't argue their recent history and track record for making it as far as they do in the playoffs, just not quite making it over that hump to the Super Bowl. I'm one who does not. I'm not a Mark Sanchez fan. I don't think he does enough for me or for that team. I think that team is carried by their defense. I don't think it's a secret. I think they're also carried by their leadership, though. I do think Rex Ryan is an excellent coach. You love him or hate him. He certainly has his troops following him, definitely behind him.
Oh, absolutely.
But that defense is the focal point of that team. To me, the offense doesn't do quite enough. And I think moving along on that note, it's tough for me, honestly. As good as the Patriots, I think, look on paper, I don't know if they have a loss in them this year. They might honestly be a 13-3, 14-2, 15-1 team, but I think they are stacked this year, honestly.
Well, moving on to the Patriots, obviously we're both in agreement they're going to be the winner of this division. I don't know if I'm going to go 14-2. I'm a 12-4-ish kind of guy. They get rid of Brandon Merriweather at safety. Late offseason cut. I'm not going to doubt Bill Belichick. He usually is pretty spot on. When he gets rid of you, your time is probably up. Obviously, Tom Brady, if not the best quarterback in the NFL, 2, 1, 1, 2, back and forth. And now with Manning out, I guess Brady is the man. This team goes as he goes. Wes Welker, 90 catches, 8 touchdowns, always going to produce for you on the field. So defense, always questionable, but it just seems like every year they do what they have to do to win 11 or 12 games. So I'm going to go 12-4.
That's the kind of team they are. It's almost like they're sneaky good, but it's nobody's secret.
Right.
It's not like the Patriots are going to sneak up on somebody and be like, oh, all of a sudden these guys are good. We know they're good. You bring up Merriweather getting cut. It's like, big deal. The guy they have in his place is going to be as good or better, and you may have never heard of him.
Yeah, he could be a 7th round draft choice. Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're squeezing all the juice out of the can out of this guy, and all of a sudden it just works out for him.
Right. And Bill Belichick, he's won with Brady. He won 1 year without Brady. So as long as he's at the helm, they're always going to be the class of this division, at least in my mind. So I'm going to go ahead and crown them champions of the AFC East. Any fantasy player in the AFC East that you're looking for this year? Not the Tom Brady's of the world, but someone who might step up and make an impact that we don't normally talk about.
We talked a little bit about the Bills earlier, maybe being a little bit of a better team this year. I put them in the group of like we talked about, a little bit of an up-and-coming team. They might have somebody there, and I think it might be early for Spiller, like a Fred Jackson, Steve Johnson, even a sneaky good quarterback that could put up some really, really gaudy numbers. Someone you may not expect. The Fred Jackson might score you 20 points 1 week. Problem with that is he might get you 5 the next.
Right. Well, talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick, quarterback,
right,
putting up numbers, is the fact that they're always going to be behind more than likely. So he is going to throw for 300. And I agree with Steve Johnson would have been my guy to throw out this division. As a guy, yeah, you heard of him, but he wasn't an every week contributor. But as the season wore on, you could count on him more and more and more, and he would be kind of my guy to look at out of this breakthrough fantasy player out of the AFC.
I mean, the guy, what did he show up in week 5 or 6 last year, and then we went from there.
Right.
But I don't think the Dolphins have anybody to get real excited about right now. Maybe they got that rookie running back Thomas. Maybe a guy to take in your keeper leagues and stash on the bench this year, but I don't see their running game being too strong this year, not yet. Everybody knows about the Patriots. I don't think the Jets have any fantasy secrets on there. We'll see what Blacksco Burris does, but I wouldn't reach for him.
Right, yeah, being out of football for a couple of years, and he is, getting up there in age, a 34, 35-ish year-old receiver. How much is left in the tank there?
Show me what you do this year, then we'll talk about next year for Blacksco, I think.
Right, Patriots running back by committee. You're going to have Welker, you're going to have Brady, and the usual cast of characters.
I do think Brady does have a huge, huge year, though. Maybe not a 50 touchdown year like he did a few years ago, but I think he's going to have a very, very strong year.
All right, so that is the AFC East with a little bit of fantasy talk mixed in there. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come right back, and we are going to move on to the AFC South. Sports Underground, Mike and Kent will be right back.